They found these Strawberries waffles. Maple syrup dripping from his fake rub.
All right, everybody, welcome out to the Log Room Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, June the 21st, 2021. I'm sorry, it's 2022. 2021 was last year. The 21 at the end of the sentence for Tuesday, June 21st got me. So 2022, I did take a year away from us. Jersey Johnny coming at you. With me, as always, is none other than Mr. Beer Samurai. Say hello, Mr. Samurai.
I am eating these little tiny pretzels.
Little
you know
tiny,
how much?
Little tiny Wutzels?
Pretzels.
Oh,
you know
I
how
thought you said putzels.
No, pretzels. You don't know particularly. I don't particularly like pretzel necklaces.
No.
I'm kind of against this.
These you know what I
pretzel earrings.
Pretzel earrings. There you go. Yeah, but you only get one bite. Well, two.
True.
No.
How many piercings you have?
Pretzel. This is true. Pretzel nipple rings. You could do that.
Yeah. Ooh.
Interesting.
Let's stop.
A whole new meaning to.
Let's not get any further south.
I know.
Yeah.
I wasn't going any further south. You did that.
These came from the plane. I went back from Florida.
Oh, I think you meant these came from.
I still have the napkin.
Very nice.
I still got the wipe.
There you go.
So if I need that later.
Wait a minute. What do you still have?
I have the wipe for your.
So do I.
That's pretty funny. Why do you have one?
It's been sitting on my desk since we got back from Minnesota.
Oh, that's so funny. I should shake your hand. Yeah.
There you go.
Now we're taking care of World Handshake
Day. We're taking care of Happy World Handshake Day, everybody.
There we go.
All right.
Anyway.
On that note, on that stellar note.
Actually, it's pretty funny because see the pretzels.
Oh, there you go.
Did you know that?
Stellar pretzels. I did see that before.
Okay.
It wasn't just a quinky dink.
No.
Not really.
These are making me a little thirsty.
I'm thirsty, and since it's just the two of us tonight, hold on. Let me put this up. It's just the two of us. You want to sing? You want to sing Grover Washington? George Washington. I'm really going good tonight, so it's last year. George Washington sings just the two of us.
Lin-Manuel Miranda's made another musical.
Exactly.
It's a spin-off of Hamilton. So last week was Pop Goes the Weasel Day, right? So
last week was
and guess what's released?
Monkey Chase the Weasel came out after Pop Goes the Weasel. Now, it always comes out the weekend of Father's Day.
Yes, it does.
I said that last week.
It
always
does. Does it always?
Yeah.
Yes.
Usually right around, but I think it's always on that day. So here, let me put your crawl up. Hold on, because I took the time to type it. So.
Oh, there you go. Might as well use it.
Might as well use it.
3.9. I'm getting tanked tonight.
3.9. I'm gonna hold on here. Let me take my obligatory picture here.
What's that? It's National Selfie Day. You should take a selfie with it.
Yeah, I should.
Right? Oh God, the mouth open thing.
There we go.
One of these days, you're gonna swallow a fly.
Probably.
I bet you'll die.
It's blurry, but whatever. So I'll be drinking pool.
Pool? You're drinking from the pool?
From the pool. Well, I'll put it up. It's a 3.7%. So you got beat by 0.2%.
It's a pool ale.
It is a pool ale. A lemon lime. It's brewed with lemon lime. It's indeed a pool ale. See it right there? Pool ale.
Pool ale.
Pool ale.
Well, this is the second pool he's done, isn't it? Didn't he do another one with a different flavor?
I believe so. Don't quote me on it, but I believe you are correct, sir.
I think he did.
Either way, cheers.
It's like cheers. Yours looks like a lemon lime.
Yeah, as a matter of fact. And I just happened to grab the mechanical brewing glass because it had green on it. So
there you go. Worked well
with the lemon lime beer here.
I went with a carton glass, actually, a carton Teku.
Carton. Why'd you go to carton? Oh, is that because we're both drinking carton beers?
Yeah. Well, I'm drinking my carton beer out of a carton Teku.
Well, there you go. I sadly do not have the one carton glass that I've bought since, losing all my glassware. Sadly broke. So I need to replace it. It broke.
So actually, the previous pool was a strawberry rhubarb.
Yes, you're right. Yes, it was.
Well, no, Untapped is right. I had to look it up.
Well, you're conveying that information to me is correct. That's what I meant to say.
You can be Johnny Depp right now and go, yes, you read that well.
Yes, you read that well. There you go.
Did I read that right?
Just there you go. Yes, you read it correct. Anyway, all right. So, it's just the two of us tonight. There was a little. I'm not sure whether. What did you put up? Was it scheduling snafu? Technological difficulties.
Technological breakdown.
Right.
Nervous breakdown. And restraining
order. Right. Exactly.
Which we're not saying which of those it was.
It's one of them. But in any event, so you just got the two of us tonight. So we're gonna talk a little bit about a few things. It'll be fun, one way or the other. But we got
until the cops show up.
We got a good exactly. We got a good top three for you at the end of the show, and here's a little foreshadowing of it. We won't say what it is, although those of you that read the promo will know what it is. So we kind of put it in there.
Oh, what do you mean we? You did.
Oh, I put it in there. Right. Well, we, the collective we, the royal we.
The locker room guys did.
Exactly. So one other day it is. It's Happy World Music Day. Now, it's World Music Day. It's not World Music Day. Because there is a category of music that's world music.
Actually, it might be World Music Day. It might be World Music Day.
Gotcha. So we have to.
But you know what?
Jimmy, get on that. That's the other show.
That's the other show. If we have Brian or Matt around, they can look it up. But it could very well be if it's a UN proclamation, because a lot of these observances are UN proclamations. Then I would assume it's world music.
I would assume. I'm assuming the other way. I'm going the other way with that. I'm assuming it's World Music Day. Like today is Music Day for the world. It's not World Music Day, like Country Music Day or, R&B Music Day. It's not World Music Day. It's Music Day for the entire world, like International Music Day. And the only reason I say that is because it's also World Handshake Day, and there's another different type of handshake that's a world handshake. You know what I mean? So. That's where I'm going with this. So
is there another kind?
Are you checking?
Yeah, I am checking.
You're checking.
I am checking.
Check away.
So it's it's just a day of music for the world.
A day of music for the world. There you go. So I was correct.
You were correct.
You
were correct.
Survey says.
No, I was doing Epic Man.
You were doing Epic Man, yes.
Poorly.
Yeah. Well, where's the big check?
No. Let's see. It's for everyone to enjoy. Free and full of fun. Okay.
Hold on. I'll do Karnak.
You're going to do Karnak? Okay. You have an envelope?
I do have an envelope, yes. But there's
actually, it's if you continue to read this article, it says it's every culture of the world has its own form of music, as distinct and unique to its area as language and cuisine.
Right. So it's Music Day for the world.
Right.
Because world music is a specific type of music. It wouldn't be every different culture having its own type of music. World music
that's how I consider world music.
It's a specific type of music.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
It's a genre of music?
It's a genre of music, world music, yeah.
What does it sound like?
It's very avant-garde.
Like on sprockets?
Like sprockets.
Now we dance.
But in any event, no, it's what's the word I'm looking for? Non-traditional instruments, avant-garde. It's that type of.
Kind of like when Jimmy Kimmel and the band play all children's instruments together with a recording artist.
Even that's really not world music. That's just kind of
cool.
Cool. Yeah, screwing around, playing around. But I'll have to find a world music clip and send it to you so you can see what it is. Actually, back when I had a recording studio, I actually had a couple people come in and actually record world music. It was interesting. We'll leave it at that.
Okay.
I didn't hate it, but it didn't have a beat. You couldn't really dance to it, So
I see.
In that. But I digress.
No, we didn't call up Tom and have him.
That was last week. That was last week.
It was on last week.
Anyway, so what did you do this past weekend, Mr. Samurai?
What did we do? Let's see. Well, we had a family cookout.
Fair enough.
For Carrie's niece. She got her master's degree. Mm-hmm. Congratulations, Maggie.
Congratulations.
Let's see. Oh, and then Saturday we met Jim at NJ Beer Company.
I did see that, yes. Before
we went into the city to go see Midnight Oil.
Mm-hmm. That's whatchamacallit. That's what I wanted to ask you. Well, first of all, we're going to get back to Midnight Oil, and we'll actually do that later on in the show. I was on here a little bit about that, and we'll talk a little bit more about some other music, as it were. But on that note, after you went to NJ Beer Co. and before you went to see Midnight Oil, you did stop at one particular place. And you
BXL Cafe.
BXL Cafe, and you had a draft pour of a certain beer. Can you please tell everybody what that draft pour of the certain beer was?
Possibly one of the best beers on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
St. Bernardus, ABT 12 on draft.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah. That I have never had the pleasure of having that beer.
They probably still have it
on tap. So I'm gonna have to get up there.
They're, I believe, on 43rd between 6th and 7th.
Fair enough. Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's where they are.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get there. I recommend the Bitterballen. Bitterballen. They make a really thick stew, and they refrigerate it until it's nearly solid.
Mm-hmm.
Then they roll it in breadcrumbs and deep fry it.
Lovely.
It's interesting. It's actually pretty darn good, and I don't like stew.
There you go. I like a good stew. Good stew in the winter.
I've never been a stew fan.
Yeah, I kind of do.
But so then you'd probably like the Bitterballen a lot.
Right,
the Volavent was so good.
I'll have to do that. We'll talk more about that afterwards. So I'll have to get up there. But
their beer list, and this is okay. 1 is New York. 2, these are great Belgian beers. So you're looking at about $12 a pour.
Sure, fair enough. Yeah.
Yes, which you shouldn't expect.
Well, you would. I mean, a beer of that quality.
Actually, St. Bernardus may have been 14.
Yeah, but a beer of that quality in Manhattan. That's what I mean. It's not
and
like
it wasn't a 10 ounce. It was a full pour.
Really?
Yeah, it was nice.
They filled that goblet.
Yeah, the goblet was full.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe that much from the lip. Maybe it's 12-ounce pour, but
it's still though. I mean, you'd expect. I mean, you're paying $9-10 for a hazy double New England.
Yeah.
If I'm going to pay $10 for that, I'd gladly pay 12 or 14 for a draft pour in a full goblet of ABT 12.
So now we were doing that. You guys were at Lagerfest.
Yes, we went to Lagerfest. Before we get to Lagerfest, though, I got a question.
Yeah.
What? Let's riff on one of the questions we ask our every guest. Okay. Can you remember what the first Belgian beer you ever had was? If you can't, it's okay. But if you can remember,
the first beer
you can remember having.
Yes, Hogarden.
All right. Fair enough.
First Abbey
style beer you had from Belgium. Yeah.
That probably would have been Chimay Blue.
There you go.
Or Corson Donk. I don't know which one.
Mm-hmm.
But because I remember I bought them at the same time, I don't know which one I opened first.
I will tell you, oddly enough, Chimay Red and Corson Donk were my 1 and 2, but Corson Donk was first.
No.
So I had Corson Donk first and Chimay Blue second.
Well, you got to remember, those were the first 2 Abbey style ales that were available over here.
Sure.
So, and Chimay was only bringing in 3.
Yeah, they brought in red, blue, and
gold, yellow,
white, cinq cents.
Yeah. White, I guess it would be. Those were the only.
Cinq cents.
5 cents. 5 tens. Actually.
5 tens. Yeah.
Oh, excuse me, but no, and actually, they had that on draft as well.
Did they?
Yes, they did.
Really? Wow, I gotta get over there.
Yeah,
it's been there in a while.
It was weird. It's the first time I've ever had Delirium Red.
Oh, really?
I ordered it. I ordered it with my chocolate mousse.
There you go. That's perfect.
Oh,
Pairs perfect with that.
Paired beautifully with it. It was awesome. It made the beer just a little. The cherry really popped more out of it when you had it with the booze. So it's good,
as you would expect it to.
Yeah, so good.
Gotcha.
So no, I do recommend them. They've got another location down, I think on 22nd, maybe. And I guess it's between. That might be between 6th and 7th as well, if not 7th and 8th. I forget what they call that, but it's BXL again, but it's BXL Rule or something like that. I forget what the other word. It's not cafe. It's their lounge.
Right.
They call it a lounge with a restaurant. Zout. Zoute. Zout.
Zoute. Zoot.
That is on. It is 50 West 22nd.
It's funny with the Zoot, and before you said that you made the Delirium Red with the chocolate mousse made the cherry pop. Yeah. And then you said Zoot. I'm thinking back in the 90s. The
Cherry Poppin' Daddies.
Cherry Poppin' Daddies.
Zoot, right?
There you go.
That's a great song. I haven't heard that in a long time.
All right. That was good. Mine was definitely Course and Dunk, though. Yeah. All great. I mean, you can't go wrong with really any of those, really. Yeah.
No.
I never did.
I don't know if there's any.
I've never heard anybody complain about any of those.
I don't know if there's any Trappists I've complained about. Well, it's the one from Austria. They're pretty good.
Right. Gotcha.
And we're losing Spencer.
We are losing Spencer. Spencer is closing. The only Trappist ales in America going bye-bye.
Yep. Only Trappist brewery gone.
Mm-hmm. So, and that's a conversation for another day, because Matt brought something up when we were talking to John out in Minnesota, John Hall, about that. So, put a pin in that. We're going to come back to that on another day with Matt on the show, and maybe even Mr. Hall as well. So,
that'd be interesting.
Yes.
Be an interesting conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah, we definitely have one that we want to bring up because it started out there with three of us, but we didn't want to, It's not like we're going live with that out there. It was bar talk at that point.
You guys were probably about 20 beers in at that point.
18, 19, maybe somewhere right around there.
Okay. Close enough.
Exactly. And on that note, just out of curiosity, what was the first carton beer you had ever?
Boat.
Definitely.
Boat and Head High hit, call it, Cloverleaf Tavern the same day.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. I had Boat, O-Dub, and BDG in the same sitting.
There you go.
Poured for me by
Augie Carton.
By himself, yes.
Oh my God, this one.
That was one. Don't say it again.
You actually gave the tour I got my first visit to Carton was him.
Or this will happen. Yeah, there he is. Yeah. It was fun times back then. That was almost 11 years ago.
Yes, it was.
Another couple months will be 11 years. So anyway, time flies when you're having good beer.
Having lots of good beer.
Lots of beer. Okay, so speaking of beer, Lagerfest.
Lagerfest was at Icarus.
At Icarus, they did a bunch of lagers, and every one was better than the last. They did 4 collabs. They did one with the Twin Elephant. They did one with Conclave. They did one with Hackensack, and they did one with Heavy Rail.
Nice.
4 of them, and they did a bunch themselves too. And they were there were Schwartz beers, there were Keller beers, there were Baltic porters, there were
and rumor has it that Jess was there.
Jess was there. Although I did, on my Jersey Johnny Instagram.
He got
and which pushed to my Facebook as well. It was just Al and I in the picture.
He kind of got yelled at because he posted a picture of him and Al Gattulo at Lagerfest and did not tag Jess. How dare
this
you?
Is true. I did not. I've been I was remiss for not doing that, and I've apologized. So, but it was made up because Al posted a picture and tagged Jess in it. So actually, he didn't tag Jess in it. He tagged me in it, And then Jess says, "There I am, see?" And there you go. So, proving that she was there. We have a comment from Mr. Gattulo.
There he is.
How are you, sir?
And he did make up for you.
Cheers.
By having a picture up there with Jess in it, sort of.
Well, part of Jess was in it.
Parts of Jess was in it.
There you go.
And if you know Al Gattulo, you can pretty much guess which parts.
Figure it out, right? Okay. There you go. But cheers, Al. Great times on Saturday. The lagers were amazing. They really were. Yeah, just crazy good. Hold on 1 second here. So talk amongst yourself. Oh no, I got something cooking here. Hold on 1 second.
He's cooking something. Is it a belch because you've been drinking so much carb? Or it's carbonation? What's cooking over there?
Hold on.
So
you'll see.
John can't text and talk at the same time. Either that or he's throwing something up on the screen that he's trying to find on his phone. You do need to throw up Al's comments, though.
I will put that up right now. Here we go. Yes. Good seeing you, John. That was not an intentional picture, LOL. No, it was not. It was not. I knew it wasn't an intentional picture, but it just kind of.
We both did, but it just kind of it fit.
I know. There you go.
This is enthralling.
There you go.
To quote Willy Wonka, the suspense is delicious.
The suspense is delicious. All right. No, actually, I was just asking Mr. Gattulo if he wanted to pop on really quick to talk about Lagerfest, but he's in the middle of a couple of things. So sadly, he will not be able to join us. So, but feel free to comment.
Too many jokes there.
He's juggling a couple of things. Boy, I left. Yeah. Kind of
left that one open.
Kind of left that one wide open, as they say. All right. So in any event, okay. So Lagerfest, but no, it was really good. They closed down the parking lot. They had everything. They had a bunch of stuff set up outside, but there was tons of people there, and it was very heartwarming to see that many people attending an all lager event.
Now, were they there for the lagers, or were they there because they love liquors?
Probably, I guess they probably. He said wide open. Yes, I did. I'm sure there was a little bit of that, but they were certainly drinking them. It wasn't like they were there and then drank water, So, we've said this so many times on the show. The fact that there are so many. People rediscovering lagers, if you will, and all these other styles that, are lager-esque, if you want to call it that, or that, just they're all lagers, obviously, but,
yeah. And the Lager Room guys started the show off with 2 ales.
Yeah, we did. We did.
But I'm fixing that.
You're fixing that.
I'm fixing that with a Japanese-style Pilsner.
Mm-hmm.
Also from...
that brewing in...
Carton Brewing.
Cartone Brewing.
They're in Atlantic Highlands, I believe.
So I'll put that up for you. There you go. That would be Hoipu, right?
Hoipu?
Hoipu.
I think you pronounce each vowel individually.
Hoipu.
Hoipu.
Hoipu. Hoipu.
Go with hoi poi.
Hoi poi. Hoi polloi.
Hoi polloi. There you go.
Hoi polloi. There you go. And there's nothing common about this. So there you go. But no, it's very good. I sadly will not be having a lager. So for my second beer, that is. But you got us covered in that one.
Well, you got lagered out over the weekend.
Can you really get lagered out though?
No.
I did get a little beard out by Sunday.
Oh, and your beard grew back nicely.
Beard out.
Oh, get out of there.
BEER''D.
That's a good brewery, actually.
Yeah, it actually is. You're right.
It's a pretty good brewery.
Right. So this is good. I'm rather enjoying this. Little pool action. I could see sitting by a pool and having several of these. Sadly, I don't have a pool. Actually, I do. I have a very, very, very large pool about 4.5 blocks that way.
So it's a little salty, and there's
a little salty.
There's just too many hairy people with very little on the edge of the pool.
This is true. And so many people come here
and then
use the pool.
And then there's the hairy guys.
Exactly. Right. So anyway, on that note, it's called the Atlantic Ocean. In any event, yeah. So this is good. I enjoy this. It's very good. Kudos to Mr. Carton. Notice I didn't say his first name.
Nope. They haven't put out a bad beer in a very, very long time.
When was the last bad beer they put out?
I don't know. They may never have.
I mean, you said that as if there were one once.
Oh, well, there was a tippy batch he had once.
Mm-hmm.
And I, in front of a bunch of his fanboys, I told him it was fucking god-awful.
And did he agree with you?
Not immediately. He walked away. People at the table were like, did you just say to fill the name in that his beer was...
Mr. Carton. You could say Mr. Carton. There's nothing wrong with Mr.
That his beer was awful? I said, no. And this is what I said. No. What I said was his beer was god-fucking awful. Mm-hmm. It was something he was still working on. He came back, explained to me where he was going with it. Blah, 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 blah. Well, I see where you're going with it.
There have been so many.
But that's why they're tippy brews. They're experimental. You got to work on them.
Well, that's why. I mean, you're doing. What's a tippy batch? Was it like 1 barrel's a half barrel, right, or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. It was not
It's a very small system.
I'm not even sure it was a half barrel.
I think it was a half. I think you got 3 seconds.
Was it half?
Pretty sure. But I could be wrong. But anybody knows, write in. Let us know. But in any event, yeah, there've been so many things that they've perfected over the years and come out with that. Because obviously, look, if you know Carton, you know they do a lot of food inspired beers.
Well. Mr. Carton he was a food blogger.
He was a food blogger, right? And they're food inspired. So there's food. I don't want to say in it, but yeah, in it, and also very, very pairable with certain foods.
And if you like TED Talks, watch his Beer is Cuisine TED Talk.
Yep,
that's very well thought out, very well done.
Yeah, but there's been so many that did so. This was really good. I'm gonna open my second one.
Yeah.
Finish this last sip of this first one, and I'm going to open my second one right here, and I'll throw this up right here. It is a Atelier. Atelier, right? I'll put it up there a little bit. There you go. It's called Plain, and it's from Carton. And the Seed.
The Seed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, while I was at the Midnight Oil show,
mm-hmm.
two guys in front of me was wearing the Seed sweatshirt.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Very nice.
It's very cool.
Very nice. I almost bought one when we were down there for AC Beer Fest. A Seed, because we went there first. Like all of us, pretty much everybody that converged on Atlantic City on Friday. Before anybody went to set up anything, everybody went to the Seed.
Well, you have to.
So it was pretty packed.
When Atlantic City, that's
so beautifully.
It's great beer there.
I have to take my obligatory picture, and there's another reason for this particular obligatory picture because this one
what?
You'll see in a second.
You stopped half sentence. We all want to know. This one what?
I know.
What did it do? It's an A Coastal Brewworks glass. I've heard of them.
There you go. Right there.
I've heard of that brewery.
So cheers.
Cheers. I hear their tasting room got wiped away by Sandy.
Sandy Koufax?
Sandy Claus.
Sandy Claus. Yeah. So, and oddly enough, and I'll take this time to make this announcement. Obviously, anybody that pays attention, Coastal Brewworks, there's building sandcastles and Trojan Seahorse has been out. The two New England's, the third beer of the flagships, if you will, gets released next week. Drops next week.
And it is a Vienna style lager. Correct?
It is a Vienna style lager.
And it is called.
It is called Awkward Tan Lines. I will. In fact, while I talk, I will pull up the picture to show you online here. Yeah, it's called Awkward Tan Lines. It's a 5.3% Vienna style lager, and it's brewed with. It was brewed with. Hold on, right here. There we go. It was brewed with over
Water,
90. Oh, it was brewed with
hops,
water.
and malt.
Yeah. It was brewed with over
That's
90.
meats.
There we go. That's the can for it.
Mm.
It was brewed with over 90% Weyermann malt, Weyermann Vienna malt, and
Nice.
a little bit of Munich in there as well.
So Wireman or Fireman?
Fireman. And whatchamacallit? Yeah. So there's no base malt in it. It's like as it's been quoted. And I didn't quote this. It's been said to me, so I'm re-quoting it. The Cadillac of Vienna lagers. So,
that was Matt Potensky.
That was Matt. Matt said that, and I've been told actually in the last couple of days, and weigh in on this because I'd actually like your opinion, by several different people, that I should pick another car because Cadillacs aren't what they used to be.
Pick another car.
Right. Because Cadillacs aren't what they used to be. I guess they don't mean what they used to be because I guess maybe the people that I was saying it to don't look at Cadillacs as a,
Well, they're really not. Yeah, I guess they've kind of lost their glow as a luxury vehicle.
Right. Yeah. They're the Mercedes of Vienna style lagers. I mean, does that make more sense? Or
well, you know what? No, because there is another saying that would be apt. The Rolls-Royce.
Rolls-Royce.
Because that's been used before in lieu.
I prefer Bentley. The Bentley of
the ones with the bulletproof glass and the in-dash bar.
Of course. What else? I mean, come on. But in any event, yeah. So Awkward Tan Lines will be out next week. 5.3% Vienna lager. Look for it at your local taps and stores, please, and enjoy it.
Is it coming up here?
It's going to be everywhere.
Okay, because I know Trojan Seahorse didn't make it too far up, did it?
Trojan Seahorse is in Hudson County. It's in Bergen County.
Is it? Mm-hmm. Okay, because the last time I saw where it was.
Both beers are in 16 of the 21 counties in New Jersey. And if you go to the Coastal Brewworks Instagram, which is at Coastal Brewworks, there was just a post this past weekend with all the can locations.
Yes, and I looked at Trojan Seahorse and I didn't see anything near me. Maybe I just didn't look at it right. Mm-hmm. Hold on, Instagram. Oh, jeez, where did all the... Oh, I didn't know
good times go.
I didn't know how that... Good times.
So,
I just didn't know that particular photo made it to Instagram from Facebook. I don't remember telling it to do that. Oh, there's Jersey Johnny with a cigar in his mouth and an Old Nation glass. Where the hell did that come from? Jess is also not in that picture.
No, that was just me saying Happy Father's Day.
Oh, guess what? I don't follow Coastal Brewworks.
Well, that might be a problem, sir.
I do now. Okay, so there we go. So this post has Monmouth, Morris, Ocean, Passaic, Somerset, and Union.
There's 2 pages.
There's 2 pages. The other one is okay. So the way you set it up, the one page. Yeah, no, but what it makes it look like the one page, that's where Building Sandcastles is available, and the second one makes it look like that's where Trojan Seahorse is available.
That's why you have to read the text below it.
No one reads shit, John. You know that.
It's both beers. It's one long picture. It's just split between 2 screens.
Yeah, you got to make that clear. Just show both on both screens.
There you go. All right.
I'll
have to get to the marketing department and let them know.
Yeah, that's you.
No, it's a marketing department.
Yeah, you.
Mm-hmm. No, it's marketing department.
I thought that was you. Yeah. Let's see. So we need to get to. Let's see what is closest to me in Hudson. No, Bayonne's near Jim.
Bayonne's near Jim.
High Spirits.
By
Right Liquors. I used to be able to walk to that one.
There you go. Thirsty Quaker.
Thirsty Quaker's a cool little place.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool little place. So I guess I'm going to rely on the burger locations are probably closer to me.
Probably.
ShopRite and Lyndhurst is probably the closest to me.
There you go. There you go. Wallington as well. ShopRite Lyndhurst and ShopRite Wallington are probably equally as close to you.
And you know what? You need to do like some kind of Polish beer and get that into Wallington.
There you go.
That'll fly right off the shelf.
Right off the shelves, yeah.
Because if I go to Wallington,
mm-hmm.
I'm going to come back with. I'm going to go to Abe's Corner Market.
Sure,
Adams?
of
Adams
course.
Corner Market. Abe's, right?
Abe's.
Come back with cabanossi, pierogies, kielbasa.
Mm-hmm.
What else do I usually get when I'm there? The Polish sauerkraut, Polish pickles.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Got all that stuff.
Yeah, they're good. But no, ShopRite Wellington's actually a pretty cool little store. Not that I'm singling it out amongst all of the ShopRite liquor stores, and all the liquor stores in general have their good benefits. But Wellington one, they have a growler station in there as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool.
Are you on the growler tap?
No, not yet. Just in cans.
I don't see Buy Right Jersey City.
That'll be in an updated one this week. Some new locations popped up this week as well, and there will be another one. There'll be weekly on Fridays or Saturdays. There'll be a new location with the new locations and then an updated list.
Gotcha. You should do a tasting at the Jersey City Buy Right.
That's possible. There's a couple tastings coming up. There'll be there'll be a tasting. There's a tasting next Friday, July 1st, in Westwood. Super Cellars up in Westwood, 4 to 7. Okay. There'll be a tasting up there. We're putting together a tasting currently at. I'll be the date is forthcoming, but there's a tasting coming up at near your old stomping grounds, and that would be at up in Boonton.
One of my favorite liquor stores on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Granite was just there over the past weekend.
He was. He did a tasting up there the past weekend.
Hawking his slop. Mm-hmm. I mean, great beer.
We joke.
Getting Joe.
We joke. Yeah.
But we did determine this over the past couple of weeks that Joe doesn't like beer.
Joe doesn't like beer.
Yeah,
he doesn't. He doesn't hate beer.
He just doesn't like it. Beer. He's a salesperson for a brewery. I don't like beer.
Yeah. So, I think there was a certain amount of humor in that. I think he gets tired of certain aspects of beer, but if there's a really good one, I promise you, he will drink it.
I've seen him drink beer.
I've seen him drink several beers, actually. So
in a row.
He may not like beer. Yeah, it's a love-hate thing, right? He doesn't like beer. Right now, he doesn't like beer. He still loves it, but he doesn't like it.
Because it's like a child.
Sure. Fair enough.
I will always love you, but I don't particularly like you right now.
I don't particularly like you at this particular moment in time. My like level is just a little lower than it may be.
But you are being a creep.
Yeah, so in any event. So
I love you to death. Let's not make that literal.
Right. Exactly. So, but anyway, so to wrap it up, Lagerfest was
wrap one up. Oh, right, we're on Lagerfest.
I'm going back. Lagerfest was
as we digressed.
As we digressed several times. The Tangent Boys are at it again. So, but Lagerfest at Icarus was fantastic. It really was. So kudos to Jay and the crew at Icarus. Good job. It was really good.
I'm gonna be on my third beer real soon.
Go for it. So, all right. What else?
There was something you wanted to talk about tonight. What the hell was it?
Well, I did want to ask you how the let's get back into music. I do want to ask you how the Midnight Oil show was.
Oh, the oils! My God! So you got to know Peter Garrett, 69 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He's 6'4", bald, kind of scary looking.
Mm-hmm. Well, even when he was like 24, he was
6'4",
bald, kind of scary
looking.
Right.
And he dances like.
Yep. Pretty much.
And
those of you listening to the audio podcast, I'm sorry I can't describe that to you. So.
It's just basically arms flailing all over the place, with the biceps almost pinned to the body, and just the forearms and hands snapping all over the place.
Right.
You could be 20 rows back at a Midnight Oil concert, and you'd still be scared that you're going to get smacked. But this is the third time I've seen them. The first couple of times I saw them. Now, one thing you need to know: this is their final tour.
This is it.
They're done. They've been around for quite a while.
Now, is this a Barbra Streisand final tour?
I don't know if it's a Barbra Streisand final tour, a Who final tour, a Brett Favre retirement.
Right. Yeah. Because I mean, it's You got to say that in any of those, you got to say them with air quotes, right? Final tour.
I really don't think Peter Garrett would say this is the final tour and then stop. You may see him again. He said, "This is the last time we will be around as this group."
Okay, fair enough. But it's like anything else. You have the intentions, right? Okay, we're not going to tour anymore. We're done. You might see us do other projects or this and that and whatever. We're never going to tour again as Midnight Oil, and that might be the intention. But a year and a half down the road,
we'll see. But he's 69, and their kind of music and what he does on stage. And the third time I've seen them, the first two times when you see them, they are, for all intents and purposes, not intensive purposes, intents and purposes. It's one of my pet peeves. Right
intense
and purposes. Right. They are
intensive porpoises.
Intensive porpoises. Really severe dolphins. They were a protest band.
Sure, of course, yeah.
They protested Aboriginal rights. They protested environmental issues, political issues. Every one of their songs, there's a protest behind it. There's a statement.
Right.
And so the other couple times I saw them, the energy that comes off that stage is kind of like anger and rage. And you got that protest feel. And at 69, Peter Garrett gets up there, and all that energy is still there.
Of course.
But it's changed a little bit because he actually smiled. They were smiling. And I guess they realized this is our last time playing in New York City.
Right.
And they're just enjoying themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Even though nothing was lost from the music whatsoever. It was still fun to see them having fun with it.
Got you.
It was a really good show. That they played some off their new album called Resist. And I explained to Carrie before we went, their studio music is pretty damn good. It's nothing compared to them on stage. So that's why it's a huge loss that they're not going to be around again. Mm-hmm. So if you haven't seen them live, you've missed what Midnight Oil is all about.
Okay.
Oh, they're so good.
I thought you were going to go to the fact that, he's very energetic on stage, and he's very, in his shows and live shows or putting it out there, but he's 69, right? So, I thought that's where you were going with that. Because I was going to say last Thursday, there was a concert in MetLife for a guy that turned 80, I believe, today.
Okay.
That pretty much gave a 3.5, 4 hour concert last Thursday.
Yes, he did. And he had a couple of guests on as well.
Yes, he did. And that would be Sir
Paul McCartney.
Mm-hmm.
McCartney, yeah.
McCartney.
Yeah, and I think that's how it's pronounced. Right, pronounced McCartney?
McCartney, yes.
It's funny because I knew exactly what was going on that show at all times because there's about 20 people on my Facebook feed that were there.
Oh, yeah.
I think I could have, if I wanted to, watch the whole concert from the clips they were putting up.
Pretty much. Yeah, I feel bad because I did not go, and my original plans were to go, and then things kind of fell by the wayside with, some other aspects kind of, taking over, current,
running a business,
that kind of thing. And then the next thing I knew, it was like a week before the show, and there was not a seat to be had. Even nosebleeds for less than like $400. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I've seen him twice. I would have loved to have seen him last Thursday, but
I'm not a fan of big arena shows. Mm-hmm. If live stream your show so I can watch it on the screen at home, not watch it on the screen on a seat I paid $450 for. I want it in a seat I may have paid $450 for that I get to keep.
Right.
Right. Because unless you got really, really good binoculars, it's like or a lot of money to get good seats. I think that's him down there, maybe somewhere over there. There's this blur right in front of everything else that might be him.
No.
I love the small venues. We saw Midnight Oil was at Hammerstein.
Okay, Hammerstein's a great venue.
We were about 8 people back from the stage.
Mm-hmm.
Another great place to see a show is the Fillmore in Philly.
Sure. Yeah, Fillmore's great.
It's a great place to see a show. There's another venue in Philly. My son and I went to see Caravan Palace there. That was another great venue.
Wells Fargo Center?
No. It's a little large.
Lincoln Financial Field?
Definitely not that one either.
Commerce Bank.
Nah, I forget what it's called, but it was definitely a smaller venue. So I really
Monk's Cafe.
No, that's not
that small.
And this place's roof was still intact.
I got you. But in any event, no, we. What was I going to say? We, I saw him twice. I saw Paul twice in Brooklyn both times. At the Barclays both times.
Okay.
Yeah. 9 years ago and 4 years ago.
No, I'll be going to a big venue show later this year. See Elton John.
Okay.
The second time seeing him, I saw him on the floor of Giant Stadium when he was during the Two Pianos tour.
Yes.
When he was with Billy Joel.
Billy Joel, yeah, sure.
So, but ever since kind of that concert season, I don't think I've been to too many large venue shows. Other than seeing Springsteen in Orlando. But then again, we were right off the side of the stage because, as you know, my brother and I were invited to that show.
Sure, of course.
By Bruce. So
but
was. So other than that, I try to avoid the arena and stadium shows.
Yeah, the smaller venues are great. I mean, I've only seen one concert since the pandemic. Since August of 2019, and
really?
August of 2019 was actually went and saw Hootie and the Blowfish. Actually,
Hootie
at Madison Square Garden.
Darius Rucker. Did they do Wagon Wheel?
Yeah, they did some Darius Rucker too. They did. Since he's there,
might as well.
Yeah, he did some of his solo stuff, but I mean, they played all the Hootie stuff, so it was good, and I think some new stuff too. They did, it was a good show. But as you know, one of Jess's favorite bands.
Yes, that would be the Bare Naked Ladies.
Bare Naked Ladies, and they opened up for.
Didn't you wait a second? You went and saw them at the Balloon Festival.
That was the only concert since then that I've seen. Was the last year at the Balloon Fest they were at, and it's the second time we saw them. It's funny too because I have now officially seen. Let's see. I've now officially seen them 10 times.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I have seen the Bare Naked Ladies every year, with the exception of 2020 because I play in 2020. But since I first started, and I think the first year I saw them was 2011. But ironically, and I know I've told you this before, and I haven't said this on the show. In 2014, we drove to Newport, Rhode Island, to see them in the Newport Beach Yacht Club, and we got there with the traffic on. It was like an 8-hour trip to get to Newport. I mean, it should be what 4.
It should be to Newport. 3.5.
3.5. Between 3.5 and 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It'll be. That's right. I'm sorry. I'm thinking Providence is about 3.5. So it's 4 to Newport because you have the 2 bridges.
Because it's the bridges, right?
So, and if you're trying to get into Newport for any kind of huge event,
right,
the Pell Bridge is just always backed up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But in any event, and by the way, the Pell Bridge, you ever go over I'm sure you have because you lived up there, but you ever go to the Pell Bridge when it's really foggy?
Oh, it's cool.
It's cool as hell.
It's really cool. Actually, what's even cooler?
Think hell is cool though. I'm not gonna say that. It's cool as it's cool as it's
actually
really cool.
What's even cooler is I went over there's a different name for it. The Mario Cuomo Bridge. Used to be
it's not the Tappan Zee.
Not the Tappan Zee anymore. That in fog, because the way it's lit up is really interesting.
It's really interesting, yeah.
Yeah. And there's a bridge up in Maine. Forget where it is in Maine, but it's north of Portland, but it's actually just west of
Freeport?
Nope. Acadia.
Oh, so it's very north of Portland.
Very north of Portland. And that is a very cool bridge. And I went over that in deep fog. And that was actually, I'm driving in deep fog taking pictures.
Lovely.
It was that cool.
Because that's safe, of course. But
yeah, very safe.
I know. So anyway, point being, we go up to Newport to see them. And we get there, wound up getting there. Every lot along the road there is packed.
Doug's right.
I know. He says no one calls the Newport Bridge the Pell Bridge. LOL.
It's called the Pell Bridge. The thing about the Newport Bridge, not to derail your story again, John, but the thing about the Newport Bridge is I've never seen any one state so in love with a bridge.
Mm-hmm.
They all love this bridge. There's a bunch of Rhode Island sites that I'm on, Facebook pages I'm on.
Sure.
There's constantly pictures of the Newport Bridge up there.
There you go.
Constantly. They love this bridge. And I was like, okay. It kind of looks like the Delaware Bridge, just not
it's
as
very
long.
Similar to, yes, it's very similar to the Delaware Memorial Bridge. Yeah. But
okay, cool. But I guess maybe if you spend so much of your life on that bridge.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can only imagine that, more residential, more local people are driving on the to quote it as Doug said, the Newport Bridge, whatchamacallit, are driving on the Newport Bridge on a regular basis than locals driving on the Delaware Memorial Bridge, right?
Yes,
those are you're traveling from New York to Virginia, you're taking the Delaware Memorial Bridge.
Can you think of any other bridge where the people are that have that much adoration for it? Maybe the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah, Brooklyn Bridge. Yeah.
There's no bridge in New Jersey that we absolutely like because we're always stuck on them. Yeah, no. Like the Driscoll Bridge, aka Benny Hill, is probably. It's what, about 30 lanes wide, and you still.
It's wider than it is long.
Almost. But you'll still spend an hour on it on Sunday night.
Doug is right. Golden Gate is
oh yes, there's Golden Gate. Yeah. Very, very well done.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the story. Newport.
And I opened a third beer for your story.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Want to speak want to say the name of the beer?
It's a Polish style smoke lager. Beeks.
Beeks.
It's not bitch. It's Beeks.
It's not bitch. It's Beeks. In any event, so we're up in Newport, and we wind up every lot's full, and we get there maybe like less than a half an hour to the start of the show, and we wind up finding out just driving around. I saw a spot in the lot right next to the Newport Beach Yacht Club. I was like, I pulled up and that says lot full. I'm like, dude, there's a spot right there. Please. I took a 20 out. I'm like, please. He says, yeah, go ahead. Just go. I'm like, so boom, I parked. And we went in, saw the show, hung out afterwards, come out. Now, we had brought some beer to tailgate. Right? And, before the show, thinking we were going to get there plenty of time to hang out and have a few beers before we go in, right? And that didn't happen. So with all the traffic and everything else, we decided, screw it, let's just tailgate after, right? So we came out after the show, had another drink inside. We came out after the show, and we opened up the back of the truck, and we're, truck, when I say truck, Jeep. Cherokee, right? So we opened the back of the Jeep, and we're sitting there, and we're just having a bunch of beers and hanging out. And it dawned on me about halfway through my first beer that we were parked right next to the tour buses.
Very cool.
Didn't even occur to me, right? So, and I look at everybody we're with, and I think, you think these are the tour buses? And with that, I look over, and here come the four of them walking across the parking lot. Long story short, we wound up hanging out, drinking beer with them.
Nice.
Gave them beers, hanging out, bing, bang, boom, drinking them, taking pictures, so forth and so on. Now, that's 2014. Fast forward to 2018.
Okay.
There we go. Perfect. Gonna see them in Coney Island, at the Ford Amphitheater in Coney Island there. All right. Jess was working in the city, and she met us at Coney Island Brewing. We drove.
Those of you who have lost track since I kept derailing his story, he's talking about Bare Naked Ladies.
Bare Naked Ladies, yes. Okay. So, and so we pull in, we park. We're going to meet her at Coney Island Brewing. Pull in a lot, walk out, and there's Jim, who's a bass player, Jim Carrigan. He's a bass player for Bare Naked Ladies. And I walk up to him, and he looks at me as I'm walking up to him. He goes, "Beer guy."
Beer guy. You gave me beer.
It was 4 years earlier that we did that. But everybody says, "You remember?" He says, "Absolutely." So we're hanging out. So, and Kevin, the keyboard player, came over. So we took a couple pictures. We were BSing for a little bit, and then we left, and we went and met Jess. And she's like, "You said you were parking 20 minutes ago. Where the hell were you?" I said, "We were hanging out."
Oh, you please didn't. You told
I
her.
said, "We were hanging out with the band." She
Did
said,
she punch you in the crotch?
I showed her the pictures. She literally didn't talk to me for half an hour. What was
yeah,
I supposed to do? Wait here, I'll be back.
Understand that.
So
did you at least text her saying, "Hey, we're having"?
No, because it really wasn't that long. We would be asking for like maybe 5-10 minutes, and I wasn't going to stop the conversation and text Jess. So, but tell her afterwards. That's all. But no, it was pretty cool. So, and she got over it quick. It's fine. But
yeah, half an hour is that's lightning fast for her.
Yeah, but my point was that 4 years later, after hanging out for maybe a half an hour, if not less, beer guy.
Yeah, so you always remember who gives you beer.
Exactly. So it's pretty fun. But in any event,
Doug's gonna go see a show.
Doug's going to go see a show. He's going to see Elvis Costello next month. Will be the first time seeing him. Should be a great show. Doug, I'll tell you right now, Elvis Costello does put on a great show. I saw him 3 years ago out at Forest Hills in Queens, the country club out there. It was Elvis Costello and Blondie. That was a great show.
Oh wow,
nice. It was a really good show. But Elvis Costello was amazing. Yes, you will enjoy it. It will be a great show. So enjoy that one.
Other than Elton John, I've got Nathaniel Rateliff, not Daniel Radcliffe. That's somebody else entirely.
Right.
Nathaniel Rateliff.
Nathaniel Rateliff he wasn't in Harry Potter.
He was not in Harry Potter.
Not in Harry Potter. Right.
That I'm aware of. He made it. So many people have been in that.
This is true.
It's
like Law and Order.
Yeah, right.
Right.
No, Nathaniel Rateliff and one of the best names for a backup band.
I could think of a few, but go ahead, tell me.
The Night Sweats.
The Night Sweats. There you go. Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats.
That's a great.
There you go.
That's a great.
Please
name.
tell me they're blowing some jazz.
They are a blues band.
That works too. Blues, jazz or blues.
I think they're out of like Missouri or something like that.
Cool.
They're from the Midwest. I know that much.
Out of Missouri, I'm sure Mr. Mulvihill knows.
Oh no, I'm positive he knows of Nathaniel Rateliff. And speaking of blues, earlier this year in winter, we saw Mark Broussard.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, Mark Broussard. If you guys don't know him,
he's not a chef from New Orleans.
No, he's not. But he is from the New Orleans area.
Uh-huh.
It is Delta blues rock.
Sure.
He gets a little poppy in some of it, but definitely a great show.
I got 2 shows coming up next Thursday. Going to see Steely Dan.
Steely Dan. You know where they got their name from, right?
Yes, I do. It was from a book by William Burroughs called The Naked Lunch.
And what was the Steely Dan?
Steely Dan was pardon my French, was a dildo.
It was a dildo.
Yes, it was.
You know there is a brewery called Dildo Brewing?
I can believe it.
It is in Dildo, Newfoundland. No, Nova Scotia. Which one's the other?
I figured you were going to say Pennsylvania because that just makes sense. That it would be a town in Pennsylvania.
Well beyond intercourse.
No, it's before intercourse.
Well outside of intercourse. But it's what's the one? The island is Nova Scotia, yeah, or is it Newfoundland? No, Newfoundland's the island. I think it's on Newfoundland. It's in Dildo, Newfoundland, Canada. I bet you they sell a lot of merchandise.
Wow, and some shirts too.
So yeah, that's where Steely Dan got their name from. If anyone was
not the brewery. Not the brewery. And I'll ask you this trivia question: do you know Walter Becker and Donald Fagen met in Bard College up in Annandale-on-Hudson when they obviously were both freshmen? Do you know the first incarnation of a band that they put together in college was called the Leather Canary?
Nice.
And do you know who was their drummer?
Not a clue.
That would be none other than Mr. Chevy Chase. This is not a joke. Chevy Chase was the first drummer in college that Mr. Donald Fagen and Mr. Walter Becker played with.
Interesting. Yeah. It's a wonder that Donald Fagen continued with music after that.
There you go. So apparently Chevy Chase was a very good drummer.
Okay.
He just like writing and acting in comedy better. So
he's not on my list.
He's not on your list. No, I don't think so. But sadly, Walter left us several years ago.
Yes.
But yeah, they've always put on a great show, and Donald Fagen's keeping it up, and going to see him next Thursday. So,
and speaking of actors who are musicians, the Bacon Brothers are going to be playing City Winery.
Really?
Yes.
In New York?
City Winery in New York.
Like, there's several city wineries.
Yes, there are.
Making sure.
And if you haven't heard them, they're actually pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I have not heard them, but I've heard. I saw a couple of shows that they did at the Bergen Pack years ago, and they were fantastic, actually.
Yeah, they're really, really good. So what's the other show you're seeing this year?
The following week, going to see the Yacht Rock Review at the Stone Pony.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. At the Summer Stage?
At Summer Stage, yep. And going there with a few people. And it's the day before we all go out to City Field.
Yes, for Keith Hernandez Day.
For Keith Hernandez Day. Yes.
If you look at Al Gattulo's Facebook profile,
I'll put his. There you go.
There's Keith right there.
There he is. And and oddly enough, and Al will be at the Met game with us, and Al actually will also be at the Yacht Rock Review show the night before as well. So
you just follow him everywhere, aren't you?
Everywhere. I just wanted, Al, where you going? I'm going to. That's it. End of story.
So we couldn't get him to join us this weekend for the Five-Borough Brewery Bounce.
Right.
You're probably too busy for it as well.
I am, unfortunately.
I figured as much.
Yes.
We'll see who can make it. I know Jim's coming to that one.
Mm-hmm.
So an idea just came up. They're like, can we do a brewery in every borough now that Torch and Crown is open in one day?
That's the goal.
It's. I think it sounds easier than it's going to be.
It sounds easy because we can do a brewery in each borough, but it depends on how you're getting there, right? Because the problem is the travel. If you're doing it on a weekend, there are no express trains. So you're on a train stopping at every stop going from one borough to another. So we actually figured it out, and you and I figured it out.
Yep.
It's literally about 8 hours of travel, and you have about 10 hours to do every brewery.
Yeah, it's a little less than that.
Maybe 7 hours of travel. So.
But it's well, the first thing is you've got to start right as Flagship Brewing opens
at noon
on Staten Island at noon. Have a couple there and get the next ferry.
Right. Figure out what ferry you're going to take and time it correctly. That's it.
Get on that thing, jump the Whitehall subway station, take it uptown, get Torch and Crown, then get on the subway again, get that into the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got to get the subway down into Queens.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do it right in Queens, you could probably walk to Brooklyn if you wanted to. But more than likely, you're going to take the subway down to Brooklyn as well and end up in Brooklyn. And then the problem with that is now you're in Brooklyn where there's so many great breweries that Sunday is going to bleed into Sunday, I think.
Right. So you're better off hitting the breweries that close at a certain hour and then hitting any bars you need to go to. Because remember, then at that point, you have to get back to Manhattan to take by the last ferry back over to Staten Island to go
if you took your car there.
Right. And
so Jim
won't be.
No, I won't be. So we just got to get back to Manhattan to get the bus over. So anybody this Saturday on the 25th who wants to join us, be at Flagship Brewing at noon. And then, just run along with us. Just look for this ugly mug.
Find Dave.
Yep.
And tell him you're joining.
Tell him you're joining along. It's an open event. Should be a lot of stupid fun. And like John said, you want to avoid hitting too many bars. But there is one bar on this trip that we're definitely hitting.
Mm-hmm.
Torst.
Of course.
Torst is a horse. Of course. No.
A Torst. I was going to say the same fucking thing. A Torst is a tourist, of course.
And
we're going to Torst. We're going to Torst, of course.
Of course. Okay. You can really drink a lot at Torst.
Mm-hmm. You can really drink a lot of beer at Torst.
The thing about Torst, the times I've been there, you look up the beer list and go, I don't think that's supposed to be in this state.
No.
Sometimes they get stuff that you're like, who'd you deal with to get that beer in here?
Little questionable. So
yeah, but then it's funny because then maybe a couple months later you will see that beer is now allowed in the state, so they almost get a preview.
Kind of a foreshadowing what's coming. Exactly. So you know what it is. Here's the thing, and I'll tell you this: when in certain states, it doesn't happen in every state, but in certain states you're actually able to do it. If there's a beer fest going on, All right, and a brewery that's coming in to the state. And again, this doesn't happen in every state, but a brewery that's coming into the state and is pouring their beer at that beer fest, they have to actually distribute, I'm using air quotes, the beer to that state in order to get it to the beer fest. So they sign a temporary distribution agreement. It's like a 2-day, 3-day, 1 week, 1 day, whatever.
And the smart bars just
grab beer.
Nice.
Yes, exactly.
It's a good way to do it.
Right.
So the fifth brewery is probably gonna be a brewery that's like steps away from Torst. They serve food, so that'll probably be dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll hit Torst, and then after Torst, if we're still standing or can still taste anything.
Isn't that a Elton John song? They're still standing.
Yeah. We'll see. So it should be a lot of fun.
It'll be a hoot. So
definitely a hootenanny.
Speaking of hoot and hootenanny and music, should we do our top threes?
We can do that. I thought there was something else you wanted to talk about tonight.
No, I just wanted to get back to music, and we did, and then we tangented off of music.
I thought that was something else you wanted to talk about.
Which is what?
I don't remember.
Yeah, because I don't remember who there was if I said anything else to you, but
Probably
no, I don't think there was.
Okay.
No, everything on the list has been covered.
That's right. You write shit down.
I do. I have a list right here, so, right next to the screen. So
you're pointing at where it says Jersey Johnny.
I'm right.
You do that.
I have
right
a list. I have a list right here. Right here. There's my list right there. Anyway. Our list tonight, as if you couldn't guess, since it's obviously World Music Day, is going to be, let's put it up there, top 3 favorite rock drummers. We've done bassists before. We've done saxophonists.
Yes.
And actually, we haven't done rock saxophonists. Our saxophonists were pretty much primarily...
they're mostly jazz.
Mostly jazz, yeah.
Well, no, Clarence Clements was on there.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Clarence was on there.
So there's some rock. Rock on there.
All right. So top 3 favorite rock drummers.
And we're going to stress favorite because you can argue to your blue in the face.
This is not best. In my case, it is, but this is not a best list. All right.
Yes.
But, and I defy anybody to argue with me on my number 1. But in any event, this is top 3 favorite rock drummers of all time, and we're going to let Mr. Samurai kick it off, please,
so that John can have the ultimate climax with his best drummer ever born.
Mm-hmm. Argue.
Fight me.
All right.
So I've actually got 5 listed.
I'm shocked.
And it's really hard to figure out who the honorable mentions and who are the 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the one that no one will argue with.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be Bonzo, John Bonham.
Okay, so that's going to be your number 1? You're going to start there?
No, I'm saying it's the one that no one will argue with.
Okay. So these are not in any particular order.
Not in any particular order. But Bonzo's Montreux is just one of the greatest drum solos recorded in a studio and live.
Right,
because they did it in the studio and all the live recordings. He just really goes off on it. He was, when they lost him, that was just completely irreplaceable. They've tried to replace him with his son, with Phil Collins of all people, who actually learned how to drum from Peter Gabriel. Who really should have 6 Peter Gabriel on there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but people talk about Peter Gabriel. You don't really remember him as a drummer.
No,
of sorts. So,
no, you remember his appearance in South Park,
right? Exactly.
Which is giving Ritalin to all the kids.
Sure.
But,
of course.
And then that urban legend about what In the Air Tonight's all about.
Right.
But we're not going to get into that.
We won't get into that.
So the one that no one would argue with would be John Bonham. Another one that I don't know many people would argue with would be Ginger Baker from Cream.
No, I don't think anybody would argue with you on that one.
He's, that was a super group, a special band. Hell, they had Eric Clapton, but Ginger Baker was the heart and soul of that band. Mm-hmm. When you got Eric Clapton in the band and the drummer's the heart and soul of the band, that says something.
Sure.
So we'll get to the other three, which may or may not be arguable. Let me go more recent and then backwards, I guess.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with Eric Kretz from Stone Temple Pilots. What I love about Eric Kretz, and especially if we're talking about world music, as in all different things, he's got so many different types of beats from so many different cultures when he plays. It's not just straight up metal, not straight up rock. He incorporates, Middle Eastern beats, Indian raga beats into his drumming. He's actually quite phenomenal. So I really appreciate him for that. One before at the top, before the show, John and I talk, obviously, and I mentioned one drummer that I don't think got taken seriously enough, because the band he was in was an 80s, not a hair metal band, but a hair new wave band, I guess, so to speak. There were a bunch of pretty boys on stage, so I'm not sure he was taken as seriously, but that whole band should have been taken seriously, especially his brother.
They were amazing.
Roger Taylor from Duran Duran.
Absolutely.
Their musicianship, unfortunately, at that time, you had to have a certain look to be popular. They were fantastic, and he was just an amazing drummer. And the last one I'm going to mention, and I'm saving him for last because I just saw him live a couple days ago, would be Mr. Hurst, Rob Hurst of Midnight Oil. Watching him perform in his 60s, now Carrie's son was a drummer, so Carrie knows, and he's a very good drummer, actually. So she really does listen to the drums. I said, pay attention to this drummer. And the end of the show, she goes, oh my God, he's fantastic. And he's in his mid-60s, and he's still just bringing it. And he had a solo in it that it wasn't a hugely long solo, but it was a really good solo. He's also does a lot of the writing for the band, as does one of John's favorites, especially the lyrics. And the first time I saw Midnight Oil was shortly after 9/11. And Rob Hurst decided, when we hit the United States, it's not going to be the United States we remember. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be different. And so he decided to chronicle the whole thing, and he put a book out. And I read the book. It didn't really sell in the U.S. You had to order it from Australia. And the show we saw, obviously he mentioned that. So he's a fantastic prose writer as well as music writer. So definitely had to give him a shout out, and he's really a very talented drummer.
There you go. Awesome. All right.
So you, I understand, have 4.
I have 6, actually.
Oh, you're up to 6.
I have 4. I have 4. But I want to make a special mention to 2. Okay.
Stuart Copeland, one of them, because I
revise the list a little bit. Here we go.
Because I didn't mention Stuart.
Well, here we go. Okay, so because you just did now, so it doesn't matter now. In any event, the 2 I want to go. Are they rock? Are they jazz? Yes, is the answer to both of them. And that would be Steve Gadd and Bernard Purdie. Both of them played. They were studio musicians, basically. So many different acts that they played with. Both of them did indeed, though, play on Steely Dan's Asia album. Steve Gadd, the song Asia, the drums on that were him, and Bernard Purdie was also on Home at Last, both on that album. But amazing studio drummers, just second to none. And you want to call them jazz? You want to call them rock? Yes, the answer is yes to both of them. All right, that's that.
Well, Fagan, if you listen to some of his albums that were not Steely Dan, that's jazz blues.
Yeah. I mean, it really all is. It's jazz rock. Steely Dan's jazz rock.
Yeah.
It really is. So,
Kamakiriad was a fantastic album.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. All right. And my other honorable mention, and only because I didn't want to, it was basically a tie for third, if you will. But I'll move him into honorable mention. And the only reason I'm doing that is because I just said his band 3 times when I said the answer to you is yes. And that would be Bill Bruford.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah. such a great drummer there for Bill Bruford. But number 3, Dave mentioned it, Stuart Copeland. The Police, one of my favorite bands. Not my favorite band, one of my favorite bands. Police are a great band. I saw them twice. And Stuart Copeland's just an insane drummer. He's just so talented. He even played. You talk about rock, blending into jazz. Stuart Copeland, Stanley Clark. You know who Stanley Clark is? He's a jazz bass player, and he had an album out and it's not the only one that was on, but this particular album was, I guess it was '88 maybe. He had an album out called "If This Bass Could Only Talk," and one of the tracks on there, Stuart Copeland played drums. So amazing.
You just remember, he didn't just play rock; he played reggae.
Oh yeah,
because the Police played reggae.
Police were rock reggae. They really were. More on that in a minute. My number 2 would be Mr. Keith Moon. Yeah.
Now, John and I, when we know that we're going to have the same answers for a top 3, we split them up. I took Bonham, he took Keith.
They both would have been in the same place on either list. So, but yeah, Keith Moon. I mean, what more can you say about it? But that brings me to my number 1. And anybody that's ever heard me talk about music at all before, it's not going to be any bit of a shock to hear my number 1 is Mr. Neil Peart.
It's pronounced Peart.
It's pronounced Peart. Okay. And it's actually kind of why we drank nothing but carton beers on the show today, because when Mr. Peart passed away a couple of years ago, Carton Brewing did a beer called pronounced Peart. It was a lime-lighted lager.
Yes. Because Carton loves making up beer style names.
Beer style names, yes, they do.
And I remember,
Limelight being,
one of the biggest hits.
One of the biggest hits, yeah. So.
And shortly thereafter is when I moved to Rhode Island, and I went and visited the brewery, and said owner of the brewery, Mr. Carton said, show up just as we're closing. So it was kind of a farewell, but we spent the whole time singing Rush songs at the top of our fucking lungs.
Oh, sure.
Because everyone was still in the mourning period.
Yeah.
At night.
It's just, it was not good. But
I reached out to 3 people when I'd heard the news. You're looking at one of them in a blue shirt. The other one is the owner of this brewery,
Mr. Carton.
And the other one is my friend Leon, also known as Coop, sometimes referred to as a senpai. So just to make sure they were okay, because I knew how much the 3 of them loved that band.
Yeah. Both the band and the man. But yeah, Neil Peart just, I mean, you like I said, when I was foreshadowed before, come at me, argue with me, tell me I'm wrong that he's not.
Well, he definitely had the largest drum set. And as I talked about, Rob Hurst being, doing the writing, especially some of the lyrics for Midnight Oil. Peart wrote what percentage of the lyrics?
Neil Peart wrote 99% of lyrics. Getty wrote a couple of songs here and there, but primarily all of the lyrics were written by Neil Peart. Yeah. And amazing they were, as was the music that Getty and Alex wrote. But I mean, it all came together, and it was and they always did something. And Jim, whatchamacallit, Healy, always brings this up too. They always did something that was very, very smart. No matter who did what, the 3 of them did it.
Yep.
It was about the 3 of them. It was about the band. It was about the 3 of them. It wasn't nobody got any of that.
Yeah, not like the Beatles, where Paul and John did everything, except for the ones that Ringo did, and except for the ones that George did.
Paul and John did everything, except for the ones that John and Ringo.
But it was Lennon McCartney.
George and Ringo did.
And then there was George, and then there was Ringo.
Right, exactly. So, but in any event, yeah, it was just just the things he wrote, and the drumming was second to none, just amazing. So, but in any event, and the throwback there, you talk about Stuart Copeland. Neil Peart was quoted as saying that the Police were actually an influence on him for some of the things, and if you think about it, Spirit of Radio, one of their bigger hits on the 1980 album Permanent Waves. The end of that song has reggae.
Right.
It's reggae at the end of that song, and it was kind of an influence, and it was kind of influenced a little bit based on what the police were doing at the time. So it's kind of cool, how it all comes together. But anyway, all right, there you go. There's our lists. Top 3 favorite rock drummers of all time for us.
Yeah, I think we're missing one.
Who are we missing?
Well, I'm looking at. I can't remember. Hold on. Where is it? Let's see.
I do not know. Who are you missing? Who are we missing?
Wait a second.
Should I sing the Jeopardy theme?
Hold on. You can if you'd like, but I'm almost there.
Almost there.
Oh, yes. Eric Stumpy Joe Childs.
Oh, Eric Stumpy Joe Childs.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, Eric Stumpy Joe Childs from Spinal Tap.
There you go.
Sad passing because he died choking on vomit. They're not sure if it was his vomit
or somebody else's.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Eric Stumpy Joe Childs, yes.
Yeah.
And there you
have it. Phenomenal drummer. Who can forget his work on Big Bottom?
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. But you know what I think made all of those songs?
What was that?
The speakers that went to 11.
They did go to 11. Was it the 24-inch high Stonehenge? Is it 24? Maybe 24.
Maybe 24. I'd like to at this time, because I actually just noticed it, want to put out a well wishes and cheers to Mr. Chris Kuzme.
Oh crap! I'm speaking of
and his wife Mary.
Saxophone players.
Speaking of saxophone players, Chris Kuzme and his wife Mary on the birth of their child.
Oh, congratulations!
There you go.
You poor schmuck.
Yes, yesterday at 11:27 a.m., June 20th, 2022, they welcomed their little girl into the world. So, cheers, Chris and Mary.
Little girl have a name?
Congratulations. Name. Zephyr.
Zephyr.
Mm-hmm.
Are they Red Hot Chili Pepper fans?
Zephyr Kuzme. Middle name to be determined, but Zephyr. So, cheers. Kudos and congratulations.
I'm going to have to cheers with some water here.
There you go. But anyway, wanted to say that. Noticed that before when I was looking, so I wanted to get that out there. Especially since we were talking about the other musical list that we did, the saxophonist we did when Chris was on the show.
So Chris is from Fifth Hammer Brewing, and Fifth Hammer Brewing is the target for the Queens Brewery on the 5-borough brewery bounce. So
there you go.
We'll see if he's allowed out of the house.
Well, I mean, he has to work at some point. It's been that's true because it's this Saturday.
Yeah,
that's a different story.
It's this Saturday. Yeah,
that is a different story.
It's a couple Saturdays down the road, maybe.
Yeah, a couple Saturdays down the road. Couple of Saturdays down the road, I'm planning on stopping there before a certain event in Queens that day. But
yes, that will be in July, and we will. That's the 9th, according to this calendar over here. And yes, we want to get there probably just as they open.
Correct.
Because we want to get there, drink, maybe tailgate with Outlet or go into, what do they call that bar now? The one that used to be.
Yeah, you know what? I was just wondering about that. I was talking about that the other day, and I had it, and then I forgot. So
it ends in apostrophe S, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Imagine that.
That's all I remember.
It is. Yep, can't find it.
Okay.
So,
it's mentioned somewhere.
Well, it's somewhere. We'll find it. But we'll mention it.
We'll wind up there.
Exactly.
But we do know that we need to get into the studio earlier than we usually do, because when they retire the jersey, they will do before the game.
Right. Well, I don't know if they're going to do it in the studio, if they're going to do it in the ballpark, but I think we're going to get into the ballpark before they actually do it.
They will do it in the ballpark. They will bring him onto the field. They'll bring him onto the field.
Of course, they'll get him out there. But yeah, no, I think they're going to do it at 3. I think they're going to do it an hour and change before the game. So no, we'll get over there. No, I figure we'll do that. Tailgate, get in, and then we'll come out and go to the other place afterwards. So anyway,
I thought I wanted to go beforehand.
Well, we'll figure it out. We'll put it together. We'll figure it out. So anyway, all right. Hold on. We got another comment. Last comment of the evening, and it is Doug Smith. Any recommendations to try coastal beers? Any South Jersey locations? Doug, I will send you a whole list of where you can go in a little while. So give me a few, and I'll send that over to you.
Yeah, but I don't think there are any bars down there, but liquor stores.
No, there's some bars. There's bars.
Some bars, cool.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if everyone knows this. There's portions of Jersey that are actually below the Mason-Dixon line.
There are.
And before you start arguing with me, yes, the Mason-Dixon line runs, but then it cuts up and over to include part of New Jersey the way it was surveyed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a straight line.
Yeah.
So there are parts of, and I'm not joking, there are parts of Jersey that are actually fall below the Mason-Dixon line.
There you go.
So, or as Robert Williams called it, the Manson-Nixon line.
Manson, there you go. This is true.
It gets a little crazy down there.
On that note, it sounds like you got a party going on over there.
There's something going on out there.
And that's done.
And just like that, it stopped.
They got there. They're done.
They got to the Dunkin' Donuts. Good job, guys.
All right. We kid. All right. On that note, we'll wrap everything up for today. We want to thank everybody for watching. And for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thanks for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.lagerroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Lager Room. Remember, we go live with a video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday night around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcasts, and iHeartRadio as well. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you will never miss a show, unless you want to, of course. But again, thanks for, hopefully you don't. But again, thanks for following with us.
I've tried.
You have to. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly. And we will talk to you soon, folks.
Unless you're not driving, then it doesn't matter.
Well, you still need to drink responsibly. Like responsibly enough to understand that you need somebody to drive you home. So that's still
no. If you're at home.
Oh, then
have at
it. Have at it. And
knock yourself out, which is probably a high probability if you.
This is very true. Good choice of words. There you go. All right, folks. Enjoy. Cheers.
Cheers.